This small dongle might not have a lot of features, but it turns out that using it, it's really nice because it's basically doing everything that is basic done correctly. So hello and welcome to Aftersound review, and this is my review for Shanling UA1S that costs around $49. And just like usual, I will break down this review from the build, feature, user experience, and sound. This device has a really humble look. It somehow looks like a round diamond-ish cut. It doesn't have any button on it. It's just this small. It just have this USB-C connectors and also one single-ended. Basically, yeah, it's just a small, nice dongle that has really good, nice build quality. It feels smooth and also feels quite durable. This thing doesn't have a lot of feature. Basically, the feature from this dongle is only belong in its apps, which called Edit Player from Shanling, that you can download in Google Play or Play Store. But sometimes I don't understand why, but it doesn't really connect when I'm connecting them with my iPhone, but it's connect properly using my Android player here. I'm not sure why, but I will say that the feature that you will find in the apps, it's basically just really basic feature. It's only adjusting the left and right channel balancing, also changing the volume, also changing its gain. Well, and also you can have some filter choices. But that being said, the filter choice doesn't really change a lot the sound of this dongle. So yeah, basically the feature is very minimal. But the user experience using this dongle, well, I have some dongles around me right now, like this 7Hz 71 or even the EPZ TP20. Because it is really small, this Shanling UA1S, and it has a detachable cable already, not like the 7Hz 71, or it's not as big as heavy as this EPZ TP20. It's basically just doing everything right. It doesn't. One thing that I also like from this Shanling UA1S, it doesn't, it's not becoming vampire and suck out a lot of battery for my phone, and also it doesn't really get hot. It just gets a little bit warm. So using them basically just basic, but it feels right. Also, maybe one thing that I should mention around some price point, some dongles doesn't have this detachable cable. Even the Moondrop Dawn, yet this using balanced connection, it doesn't have a detachable cable. But for me, detachable cable is somehow quite convenience, especially when I want to change from my USB-C to my Apple. Even though sometimes I don't understand why the dongle doesn't connect through the Edit Player, but it does connect when I'm trying to play music. So yeah, it's just convenient to have this detachable cable USB Type-C. At least it's also better in terms of longer period of durability. Now let's talk about the sound. Now if we're talking about the sound, I need to give some comparison with some of the dongles around its price point, like the 7Hz 71. Also, the last time I reviewed the Tanjim Space Light, well, if I compare the three of them, I would still say that the 7Hz 71 is somehow the closest to what I call to be neutral. It's somehow it has the least bass boost that I feel among the three of them. 7Hz 71, it also have somehow the most forward vocal comparing with the three of them. The Tanjim Space Light somehow feels a little bit more V-shaped compared to 7Hz 71, but the Shanling UA1S, it feels warmer. Comparing them with the 7Hz 71 directly, it feels I hear more bass punch. The bass also get thicker and a little bit more forward in positioning. The vocal, it's somehow drawn a little bit backward in positioning, while the treble, even though it's, I would say the extension is just simply the same, but it doesn't go as sparkly as the 7Hz 71. It's somehow a little bit more smoother. So simply said, if you ask me, I would categorize this Shanling UA1S as somehow warm-ish characteristic to it. But it doesn't sound overly blunted or overly warm or overly congested or anything like that. It just sounds a little bit bassier and a little bit smoother on top ends. But the thing that I kind of like about this Shanling UA1S is when I'm playing through them, it's immediately through my, either it's through my phone, whether it's Android or my Apple phone, it's really have a really good silent background to it. And it's also, even though it still sounds a little bit thicker compared to the 771 here, I would say that using some of the higher end IMs, well, in lower end IMs, I don't really feel there's a different level of technicality with them. But using some higher end level IMs like my IE600 or my 64 Audio U4S, it is clear for me that the Shanling UA1S, even though it sounds thicker and simply sounds warmer, but it does have a better separation and better imaging while comparing them directly with the 771, and it sounds somehow, yeah, it's a little bit more separated when I compare them with the Tanjim Spacelight. But that being said, I would say that it's not really compatible maybe for some of the IMs that already have this kind of warm-ish sound to it. Just saying, like my Sony IR M9, it sounds a little bit too warm when I'm playing them through this Shanling UA1S. So basically what I'm trying to say here, it's always go back to your preference, and it's all about matching up your source with your IMs. I will recommend this dongle maybe to be matched with some of a little bit bright IMs with maybe a good technicalities, but you want to tame them down and a little bit giving them a little bit bassier presentation maybe. And also this dongle doesn't really have a good power. It's only rated at 80 milliwatts. It's definitely a lot less comparing them with the Tanjim Spacelight that is rated at 110 milliwatts at 32 ohms, but it's just a little bit better compared to the 771. The 771 is 70 ohms, so I don't really recommend you to try headphones with this dongle. It's only mainly for made for simple use, that is using phone and 4 IMs. So I think that's all I could say about this Shanling UA1S. Even though it doesn't have a lot of exaggerated power or a lot of features or anything that looks exaggerated and very gimmicky, but what I think I really like about this Shanling UA1S, it just everything basic seems correctly done. It is small, it is light, it feels durable, it has detachable cable, it sounds really clean, even though it sounds a little bit warmer for compared to my preference, but it does have a good separation in terms of technicalities and also sound performance for design. Basically, it's just doing everything done right, but it just doesn't have a lot of features on it. So, do I recommend them? Yes, if you want something to be really simple, like even though right now I have a $70 dongles like this EPZ TP20, but because of the weight of this EPZ TP20 and also maybe the size of it, I rarely use it. I use this much more compared to my other dongles right now. Yeah, so simply said, it doesn't have a lot of features, but yes, I still can recommend it because when I'm using them for these days, it just feels right, and yeah, it just feels right. So that's all I will say about this dongle, and thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.